On today's episode of The Front Row, we are at the Lubbock Public Media Studios in downtown Lubbock in the Cultural District. And my special guests today are JR and Roberta. You probably know them as the morning hosts on the Red Dirt Rebel, which is 107.7, right?
Yes.
And I want to welcome both of you to the show. Thank you for being on the program today.
It's so nice being back on 105.7.
Now, there's some history here. You were on 105.7. Tell us about that.
For years, we were on 105.7, and once the merger got done with Raymar Communications, Lubbock Public Media, with you guys, were able to take over that stick while we moved over to 107.7, and it really just ended up with me not sitting in a field sometimes at night. So I'm pretty excited about that.
The equipment was pretty rough. It was pretty rough, but fortunately with the new ownership, everything was upgraded and a lot better. Yeah,
Well,
Jared's stress level was not good back then.
Right.
Not good at all.
Well, I feel like I have a legacy with 105.7 to uphold, and so I'm grateful for y'all. So thank you very much for that.
It's not always a great legacy, but you're
Yes.
welcome to it.
You're much more classy now than we were. So there's that. We're a little more loosey goosey.
Well, let me tell you, working with y'all has been a real eye-opening experience for me, and I really have come to admire y'all very, very much, both individually and collectively. Because what y'all do is really, it's art. It really is. It's preparation, it's art, it's understanding, it's knowing your audience. And I come in every day and I'm just really impressed about that. And y'all do really, really great work. And I thought I want to talk to y'all and find out more about this because I really do think what you do is art. And
I hadn't thought of it that way, but I guess it is. It's entertainment. I mean, it's
in a way.
And it's been finessed and honed and worked on. And JR's the lead. I'm the color. I slide in the jokes and I add to the personality piece of it. But it's funny. We're out in public sometimes. We've been to happy hours before. JR had a fiance and he was out chasing the town, whatever he was doing, and people would hear us and say, "I know your voices." Right. And they said, "You sound exactly like what you sound like on the radio." One person asked one time, even, do you rehearse? Do we have scripts? I'm like, no. Jared just hits the button and we just start talking. The only difference out in public is we swear and insult each other more.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, so let's explore that a little bit. How did y'all get into radio, and how did you find each other to become the hosts for Red Dirt Rebel?
I got into radio 20 years ago. This year, 20 years. It was, I lied to get into radio. I just straight up lied. I did a fake internship, and they eventually hired me. And that was how I got into radio. It's ever since I was 9, I knew I wanted to be involved in it somehow. And I had a couple of different co-hosts since I got to the Red Dirt Rebel 8 years ago. One being a very good friend of mine. We were having fun doing it, and he ended up leaving for a family business to go run that. Another one which didn't work out, and that was where I kind of realized I need to make sure the person that I bring in the next time has a work ethic. Like, as fun as it can be, it is waking up at 4:30 in the morning every Monday through Friday and taking the idea of being the first voice that some people hear each day very seriously in a fun way.
Trying to remain positive because everybody's got life pressures and you can occasionally I'll empathize with people, sympathize, give them a little positive message. It's not all positive. It's silly, it's fun, it's light. Try to ever talk about politics, but we can have bad days and try to never let that translate on the radio. There's enough sadness, anger, angst, whatever in the world. So we try to be the light piece of it. You know what? We're all just trying to get through this life. Let's have something fun. Let's talk about concerts, promote the music scene, have a good time, even if there's a bad day. And that's part of it with the job. Back to what Jared was saying. So you've got to be here at 6 a.m. You're not pulling in the driveway. Sometimes I'm 5:58, but I'm still here to get my energy drink. But yes, JR, how I got into radio, I had no intentions. I just love the music. Texas country, Red Dirt music. I was at a bar in Lubbock, a dance club everybody knows, and they were playing a couple of different songs. Everybody's got their song that introduced them to Texas country. I call it prior to Yellowstone. People didn't know what it was necessarily. Some did, some didn't. I found it about 11 years ago. I was at a local bar, and maybe 12, and the DJ, I said, "What is this song?" It was Randy Rogers Band, and then there was another one, Cross Canadian Ragway, and they're like, "Oh, it's Texas country. It's a red dirt station." And I went and looked it up and started listening. And then when my kids got older, the last one was in high school and then college at Texas Tech. She was the little band kid, didn't do a lot as far as activities. My other kids did all the activities. But I had free time. Here I went from the busy house to nothing, almost an empty nester. Started going to the Thursday night we do live music. JR hosts an event, and I'd show up and I just give him a hard time, and we'd hang out, and it just became friends. And from there, he had the opening. Well, I won a trip. To a festival that they do every year in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and he had me on the show just to hang out for a little bit. And it's like, I need a host. And it was at the beginning of COVID. May have had some cocktails when I agreed to it, and actually it worked out really well for almost 2 years because of COVID. But then because I've never been in radio, and it was just a passion project. It was fun for me. It's not a career. It's not a lifestyle. Radio pays well if you're doing the directing, the advertising, if you're just if you're the personality piece of it, it's more for fun than it is an income. So my full-time job's always been in finance, and it's a lot. It's been a lot. It's tiring. Right. So the time's come to an end, and it's sad, but it's okay. I'll find a way to stay involved as a fan.
Right.
So, but I've gotten to interview and speak to any person I could ever think of. So nice. I've gotten to do so many amazing things. Radio's really fun. It can be, as you know. You get to do the things you love to do. But now I got to get back to work and do the heavy lifting for a while before I at some point retire down the road. Right.
Well, you mentioned something that I wanted to get to, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to y'all soon was because Roberta, you are actually leaving.
Yes. And a few more days on the station.
That's right. So I wanted to be sure I caught you before.
Yes.
Before I didn't come in one morning and you weren't here.
I tell you, and there's plans in the work. We'll see if it all comes together. But the person that might potentially replace me would hit things to a whole new level in a different way. So I'm all about change. I'm okay with it. Yes, I'm nostalgic for the old, and I will miss it. Right. But at the same time, all things come to an end, and go on to my next adventure. But I know it'll be in good hands with JR. JR, he's been doing, like he said, radio for 20 years. Everything he's touched has gone off, very well, and all the artists know him. Everybody knows JR. Everyone knows him in the scene. Yeah, all across the country, they all know him.
And exactly. 3 have good opinions.
Oh, stop! Stop.
Now, JR, Roberta just mentioned something that was very interesting. She talked about being here at 6 o'clock in the morning, being reliable, and all that kind of stuff. But part of the thing, JR, is that you always have prep. You always have material. You do your homework. And I have great respect for that, and I see you do that day after day after day. So you really do make this show work. So how do you do that? Where do you get the material, and how do you hone that for your audience?
I am lucky enough to have been pursued by some other stations as well that don't necessarily have budget to keep someone full-time on staff or be a regular personality like that. So I do contract work on the side for 3 other radio stations around Texas. And so in the mornings, I will wake up at about 3:15 in the morning and eventually kick myself out of bed and start doing recorded stuff for these other 3 stations. And that honestly has been really great for the show we have here, because I get to go through all of the different prep stuff, all the news sites, all the different topical information sites that I can go to and go, okay, this is how, as I'm doing it and I'm getting those other side jobs taken care of, I'm structuring the show in my head of like, I want to hit this here at this point. This is my 8:20 break for Roberta and I later. All those little different things. And then, so by the time I'm walking out the door at 5:30 from my home studio to here, I am I have a really good idea of what we're doing today. And that's always changeable, because it's not just that. It's not just my show. It's our show. I want to see what she's got going on. And many times I've derailed the whole idea of what I have because she's got something more interesting and more fun to talk about. It may just be us ribbing each other for 4 hours because of a certain topic, whether or not her relationships are working or not, or all that fun stuff. Being willing to kind of like play it by ear. We've taken the approach, which is different than a lot of radio shows do, in that ours, we treat like ours as a podcast with limited time. The old school radio mentality is one thought per break. You exercise one subject per break. And I always loved when people let a conversation morph and change and go down whatever path it goes. And so we try and do that, maybe with a theme on some certain stuff, but we go for however long it is until I just don't have the time on it, and I want to make sure we're playing music and not droning on because we think it's funny. So we have little markers in my head of like when we stop and we got to get out and go on. But we try and treat it like a podcast and let things flow. Radio's changing all the time, and I'm trying to make sure we are on the forward edge of that in both the music and in the way that the station runs.
Well, it's just amazing because I come in every morning and I just, stand or lean in the doorway of y'all's studio, and you have so much material, and it's interesting, but it's also hilarious a lot of times. And Roberta, you just have a way of going with it, and the two of you work with such synergy, and I'm just amazed every day. And I realize that this is where the art part of it comes in. Y'all just get it, and it amazes me.
It's fun, but part of it's because we're passionate about the music. He and I both attend concerts all the time. We love the band members that we meet and the artists. That's a big piece of it too. That gives us a lot of the material. I'm scrubbing social media all the time, trying to see which band's doing what, trying to catch tidbits of that. He does as well. When we're out talking to people, we go to all these functions and they are fun, but we work too. Like we just came off of a festival here in Lubbock and we're tired because we're gonna go intertwine and mingle and talk to. It's fun, but that's where we learn about what's coming next and from each artist, or what's on the horizon for them. Who their next tour is going to be with, if they're rising, all of those things. But also beyond the music piece of it, part of what we do is we put a lot of our own lives out there. Try to pull it back a little bit. Like I'm not going to give my address, although you have given my passcode to my phone on the air. It's still running right now, as a matter of fact. But we also try to find tidbits of things that happened in our lives to talk about, and we'll share a lot. And I think part of that's for the material because it's funny. I try to find humor in something ludicrous that's happened in our lives, but it's also to help other people have a connection so that they know it happens to them too. Yeah, we're these radio people, but we also have flat tires. Right. Or, our roof's leak or whatever it is, and the frustrations of daily life. We've got some really passionate listeners because of that.
And if I may, just building off of what you were saying, Roberta has been such a huge part of the whole thing because she was always in for the joke. The absurdity of whatever little dumb idea I have, or she's always been like down for the self-deprecating joke, because my whole thing is self-deprecation, but I appear bigger on the air than I actually am in life as far as like my ego of myself. But she has always been great for letting me be that character and being cool with like making old jokes. I got her adult diapers shipped to her house and little things.
He's dyed my dog green for St. Patrick's Day. He takes pictures of my upper arm fat because he knows I don't like it and post it. He tries to catch me when I have no makeup on or whatever. Yeah, it's funny.
Some people are going to think it's a bullying relationship, but I promise she's been informed in almost every case.
I mean, sometimes it's a surprise, but I'm like, oh. But what's funny is when people catch us out in public, they're like, some kind of see JR's bullying you. I'm like, oh. I get mine. He worries more about things than I do. I let more things roll off. So if I give him a little nugget, if he thinks it's real, it might bother him. You know what I mean? And one day he made fun of an outfit that I wore, my sparkly duster that I wore with a hat to a concert, and he was just ruthless with the jokes, and he thought I was really offended. I wasn't. I really didn't care.
Right.
But JR can get his feelings hurt. But we try never to hurt each other's
right,
feelings. We
right.
try
Yeah.
to just have fun with it.
Right, exactly. You mentioned something that I think is really important. You talked about being out in the public, and y'all do that like crazy. You just did the Cotton Festival. You're out at Cook's Garage here in town. You're in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. I couldn't believe that the day I came in and y'all were doing a remote from there.
Yeah.
Y'all really take that seriously, right? You're
Yeah.
public?
Yeah.
We're literally, we put in the effort over the years to where we're literally a part of the festival now. It used to be just we were there covering the festival, and now we've gotten to the point where we have our own room during the festival to bring artists in, and they've made it. We're on the poster. That was
your goal.
As she transitions away now, sadly, that's kind of like the one cool thing we finally got in our time on the poster where
On
it
the
has
lineup.
all the artists who are going to be performing there. Where at the very end it says JR and Roberta, and that just made me feel really good.
We broadcast from Steamboat Springs, Colorado in January. I say that's the reason I've stayed with the radio station, is to go to the festival every year. April, we do Larry Joe Taylor Fest. I did that festival before the radio station, but we interview people and broadcast the whole time at both places. We'll do a charity event up, several. Cotton Fest as well, at least broadcasting a day or two. We have gotten to interview everybody. We've gotten to get the up and comers, and they remember us for us promoting them, playing their music first. We have a list of Texas Country Red Dirt bands we played exclusively for the first time, and it's lengthy. Names that are way up the ladder now, and they take care of us. They remember. Most of them are very thankful, and we're thankful that we got to be part of that journey too. But I say personally, I don't know of another there's one competitor that's heavy duty in the Texas country scene and organized and out and about and interacting. There's one. We're up there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one in another part of the state that's a bigger population area, and there's even more potential with this. And that's what I am excited. As sad as I am to go, there's more potential. There's more.
You were talking about us being out, and one of the main reasons is we've just never had a marketing budget on our own. We have always, since Roberta got here 5.5 years ago, it's one listener at a time. We literally will go out, and I will get on any stage that I can to introduce the band and tell people, this is the music we play.
Yeah.
Find us. We're here supporting this music, and in lieu of dollars, it's effort. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We put the time in, our own personal money to go out to these shows and be a part of them, and it's one listener at a time.
I travel all over the state, and what's funny, because JR says he's never paid for a concert ticket. One, for his mom to like Kenny Chesney or Journey or something way back in the day. I pay for my tickets almost always, and I travel all over because I'm an empty nester. He's got a small child. It's not his thing anymore, but I will travel all over, and I'm right down in the pit. I want to be in the front. I don't want to sit. I want to be in a pit. I want to check it out. But whoever's around me, I make friends with them, and concert buddies. I've made some great friends over the years. And I will like bully them into, you like this music? And they're like, uh-huh. And they'll talk about those streaming services. I'm like, forget that. Add this app to your phone right now. I bully them into it. That's where I shows. And one listener at a time, just what JR said. We have people all over the country that actually out of the country too.
Yeah,
they'll
all
come
over the
in
world.
all over the world. We have people that'll stream and listen on the app.
Right.
So it's humbling. JR and I both like the attention, but don't. We want to be the silly comedians. It's probably some childhood trauma, I'm sure, but we don't want the spotlight on us, but we do. Does that make sense?
Yes,
You
right,
want the
right.
kudos, but you don't. It's a very weird ego balance thing that we both understand.
I love attention. I don't like compliments.
Yes.
Yeah,
And the
I totally
attention's-
get that's well said.
We're supposed to be funny comedian types. We don't want it like serious. A serious compliment, really, we just run right away. So you even interviewing us, like, oh, okay. You know, you want to brag about what you do, but you don't.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
but yeah, we love what we.
Well, people do love it. I mean,
Yeah.
what morning is it that you do the acknowledgement of folks? And I people
Oh,
from Pennsylvania and
Where you at
Washington.
Friday?
Where you
Oh
at
my
Friday?
gosh. I mean,
Feral
it's
Friday?
Amazing. People listen.
That to be honest, that started because I had no other way of communicating with people. I didn't have a phone line. I didn't have a text line. All I had was I had an app and I had a wall where people can chat on it, and that was my only connection back to anybody listening to hear what I was doing was going well or wrong or whatever. That was my only feedback that I could get. So I started doing that, and it's weirdly lasted for 8 years.
8 years.
I've been doing that Friday. Just where you listen from? What do you want to hear? Let's talk smack. Let's have fun. Let's kick off the weekend in a good solid mode.
They'll ask. That's the only day we really will take requests, and it better be something we want to play, or we're not going to do it too. We kind of give people trouble. Thursday we do a new music feature, and JR will get exclusives often from the bands. They'll sneak them to us a day or two early, and that's a lot of fun too. People listen in from everywhere for that as well. Might be 4, 5, 6 songs that he'll feature, and it can be from a local artist that nobody's heard of. It can be one you found somewhere out in social media nobody's heard of, or it could be a heavy hitter. It can be anywhere in between. So it helps people. People come at us all the time and play my song on the radio. Do you have anything current? No. 10 years ago, this guy played a song. It doesn't work like that. Lubbock's a melting pot as far as the Texas country red dirt scene. All the bands come through here. They do. They've all spent time at the Blue Light and then up to Cook's at some point. There's a singer-songwriter night. We want to support the people who are putting in the time. They're doing their work too, like we do our work.
Well, if I can build on what you said for just a moment, Lubbock is an amazing. I moved here because Waylon Jennings worked here, and that to me meant so much. I was just a really big fan of his, and knowing he had done radio and he had started in radio here, working in the Great Plains building or whatever we call that these days, doing radio, and I was like. I had been a little disillusioned with my career up to that point, and I had like a year and a half out just doing a regular job, and I was like, okay, it's about time for me to. It used to be the commercial radio the way it goes. I would just kind of shotgun my resume and air check, a sample of me on the air to anyone with an opening, and I decided I wanted to be much more. Goal-minded with how I sent out. I applied for one job and I got that job here in town, and I got to really know Lubbock and the amazing history it has with music. And our station has always been really cool about being able to play these up-and-comers or these new guys who are just, they may play the restaurants here in town, but they have one song that they put $5,000 of their life into getting produced fully and doing a thing. And if it makes sense on the air, and this is a person you'll see while you're eating dinner at one of the restaurants around town, and I can give 3 minutes towards that, why wouldn't I want to do that? To give back to this community, which has given the world so many fantastic artists, including your Buddy Hollies, your Waylon Jennings, your newer folks, your Mac Davises, and all the whole thing. I consider it a charge towards myself of the music I'm responsible to play. And I got to make sure I'm doing my job towards the ratings and everything else that I need to try and achieve, and sales goals and things like that. But it's all about the music. It always will be, and so we try to make sure we focus on that.
To make it in this scene too, as well, I'll tell you this: you'd better be able to play live music, because it is supported with us, but concerts are a big thing.
Y'all do great work. And you've done great work, and Roberta, as you're leaving, that means there'll be a new chapter for both of you. How this is going to, and we certainly wish you the best. And I just want to tell you that coming in every morning, I have nothing but admiration for y'all, and it's been a real pleasure to work with you.
You as
Thank
well.
You, man. It's fun. You've taken part in the show a couple times as well.
Yes, you have.
And you play along. We got you to do a liner. Like I said, we like to make fun of each other, and
we got you to cuss.
I got you to curse, and that will run through Thursday, and then we got to figure out something else.
We were pretty proud of that, because you're quite refined compared to us. We're the rowdy people that are next door, and we felt pretty good about that.
It's crazy. Our guests today on the front row, JR and Roberta, we wish you the best going forward, and thank you very much for being our guest on the show today.
Thank you for having us.